Hello, dear students. I would like to welcome you all to our literature lesson today. Today is the 23rd of March 2020. Before I begin talking about the learning objectives, I would like to walk you through the structure of our session. First of all, we're going to begin with an introduction and sharing of objectives. Then we are going to begin our core analysis and the assessment for learning, where we're going to respond to several selections from The Tragedy of Macbeth, page 14, and we're going to unpick the words and look into their meanings and their connotations. Lastly, we are going to end with a Mastery Connect plenary to check understanding and measure progress. The resource that you will need for today will be the handbook, page 14. If you have the hard copy, you can refer to it. If you don't have the hard copy, then you can alternatively refer to the PDF that is uploaded on Google Classroom. But apart from this, you will definitely need something very important: the power of your imagination. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all to our starter, which is a critical viewing activity. Let's have a look at these pictures. Let's have a look at the troubled faces, the daggers in the images, the color red, the blazing fire between the characters. What do these pictures have in common? What do they tell us about the character motivation, conflict, deliberation, and emotions? What do they reveal about what kind of decisions these characters will make? And why do we think so? This is the page that we are going to refer to in the book, and these are the parts that we are going to mainly focus on in order to unpick the words and to look more deeply into the drama conventions and the sub-themes. Let's begin with the first part. Lady Macbeth here welcomes Macbeth into the scene. A great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, a greater than both, by the all hail hereafter, thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant. Let's think about the words. Let's think about the way she started. She used the combination of a great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, adjective, noun, adjective, noun. Greater than both. By the all hail hereafter, all hail. What is she referring to? Where did we hear this? Do you remember? Now thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present. How can letters transport a person? And how can the present be ignorant? And I feel now the future in the instant. How can we feel the future in the current moment? Doesn't that seem contradictory? Let's look closely into the literary devices. Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, thy letters have transported me. I feel now the future in the instant. Think about that and get prepared for the upcoming questions. Now let's pause a bit and think about the link of this part to history. According to Rigel 2018, women during the Elizabethan age were depicted as servile, submissive, extremely obedient in a context that is patriarchal. Patriarchal means dominated by men. So what does that tell you? Do women have a real voice in a patriarchal society? And if it was heard, would it really steer events and change the map of different decisions? Now let's make this link between this historical fact that is documented in research and between what we have seen in the role of Lady Macbeth so far. With this in mind, let's think about this upcoming part. Macbeth responds to Lady Macbeth's greeting, "My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight." And she asks him, "And when goes hence?" "Tomorrow." So when he said tomorrow, what did Lady Macbeth say? "Oh, never shall sun that morrow see." She's saying he is not going to see tomorrow's sun. What is she trying to do? What is she trying to say? Then she's going to manipulate him in a different way this time. From the assertion of no, he's not going to see tomorrow, she directs her attention on describing him as a book that is so clear to all people. So she resents that fact in a way. Your face, my thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. So what is she trying to tell Macbeth? What is she trying to ask him to be? Then what he said here, "We will speak further." What does that show you? What does his response tell you? Did the influence begin? And why? How did we know that? Lady Macbeth concludes here, "Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me." So she is telling him that he should project a peaceful mood, because if he's going to look troubled in any way, he will arouse suspicion, and this is something that she doesn't want to happen. Why? What is the plan she has in mind? Let's think about the literary devices again. Your face is as a book. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Beguile means trick. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. Serpent means snake. This is an illustration of the scene. The flower that is hiding the snake underneath. What kind of theme or sub-theme can be elicited from this part? Think about that before we begin the following question. Now, linking all of this to the historical fact and the words expressed by Lady Macbeth, and how she concluded with, "Leave all the rest to me." What kind of contrast you can sense between the historical role of women during the Elizabethan time and Lady Macbeth's character? What kind of character is she? How do you think this is going to influence the upcoming events? How do you think she is going to deal with Macbeth and his lack of decisiveness? Now, let's move on to the scene where Duncan, his sons, and the other thanes arrive at Macbeth's castle. Duncan obliviously says that this castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses. So he senses that the place is pleasant, and that the breeze is sweet, and that everything appeals to the feeling of satisfaction of his refined senses. And Banquo also says that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. So it's sweet, the breeze is sweet and refreshing. Now, they don't really know what's going on. They don't know that there are some other evil intentions being planned behind the scenes. And then Duncan says, "CC our honored hostess." So he greets Lady Macbeth with compassion and with warmth, and he shows all sorts of appreciation. Lady Macbeth says, "All our service, in every point twice done, and then done double." So she is expressing how grateful and thankful she is in having the king, and showing infinite readiness to serve him and to welcome him and to do whatever she can in order to honor him. What does that tell you about the drama convention in this part? What is she trying to do? So let's think about that. Duncan and Banquo's words about the castle, Duncan's appreciation for the hostess, Lady Macbeth, and Lady Macbeth's response. What do they all tell you? What kind of drama convention is expressed here? Let's respond to the question. Now we have to think about the sub-themes expressed by the characters and their behavior and their certain actions and the way that they're responding to everything around them. What kind of sub-themes you can infer from going over the analysis and from the literary devices that we elicited and analyzed together? Think about that and respond to the question that will follow. So, we agree that we have deception, conspiracy, murder, dark intentions, and we have, in contrast, appreciation and innocence. We have a king that is oblivious, but we have two people who are very deceitful and who are ready to betray the king in the ugliest manner ever. Now, this is going to be available for you, where the detailed analysis is going to be annotated on the page, and this is uploaded on the Google Classroom so that you can refer to it and study from it as you wish. But before we refer to our Mastery Connect plenary, let's link this to our real life. Let's draw parallels or think about ambition and how it is born. This picture dates back to, I think, the 1970s, and this is the beginning of the flowering of Sheikh Zayed's ambition. So he got the opportunity to rise and to bloom as a ruler and as an individual that cares a lot for his country. But look at what he did. So he witnessed all the stages of development in his country. So he was able to use the presence of oil to the nation's advantage. He didn't think solely about himself. He didn't think selfishly about what he can get from being the ruler of the UAE. He thought about the whole country, and he thought about the well-being of his people and all the people that live on this land. So this kind of parallel is kind of perplexing, because here we can see a contrast between the two rulers, or the two images of rulers, and the two images of ambition. So it really helps us to understand each character in a separate way. It deepens this understanding when we see how this differs in reality. The external enrichment I wanted to share with you is taken from a book that is, it's a study system on William Shakespeare. You can see that the themes are color-coded, and I am sure now that your ideas or your perceptions of the kinds of themes that are reflected are confirmed now, because you can see here the color coding for this part when